Many children and adults today are more interested in gaming, Snapchat, and TikTok. They don't read the Bible anymore and learn about my history or the history of my ancestors. The world is going in the wrong direction now.
Yes, it's sad, really. People should learn more about all the exciting stories in the Bible, not to mention what they can teach us.
We've got to do something about it, Dad.
Certainly, son, let's share the stories ourselves.
Young Joseph, favored by his father Jacob, walked through the fields. His colorful coat, a symbol of Jacob's love, flowed in the breeze. His 10 older brothers watched him with envy from afar. They muttered amongst themselves, their faces dark with resentment. Joseph approached, oblivious to their simmering anger. He shared his dreams, visions of sheaves bowing before his, and of the sun, moon, and stars paying him homage. His brothers scoffed, their jealousy intensifying with each word. "Do you really think you'll rule over us?" Simeon sneered. Levi clenched his fists, his eyes narrowed in fury. Reuben, the eldest, tried to mediate, but his words fell on deaf ears. The brothers plotted in secret, their hatred consuming them. "Let's kill him," Dan hissed, "and be rid of his dreams." Naphtali nodded in agreement, his face grim. Reuben, however, intervened, seeking a less violent path. "Let's not shed blood," he pleaded. "Throw him into the pit." The brothers agreed, seeing it as a slow, silent death. They lured Joseph to Dothan, far from their father's watchful eye. As Joseph approached, they seized him, ripping off his coat. He cried out, fear gripping his heart as he realized their intent. They dragged him to an empty pit, its depths dark and foreboding. He begged for mercy, but his pleas were met with stony silence. They tossed him into the pit, leaving him alone in the darkness. The brothers sat down to eat, their consciences momentarily forgotten. Judah noticed a caravan of Ishmaelites approaching in the distance. "Why let him die?" Judah suggested. "Let's sell him into slavery." The brothers considered the offer, their greed outweighing their guilt. They pulled Joseph from the pit, his body bruised and aching. The Ishmaelites paid 20 pieces of silver for the young man. Joseph was bound and taken away, his hope fading with each step. The brothers dipped Joseph's coat in goat's blood. They returned to Jacob, their faces etched with false sorrow. "We found this," they said, presenting the blood-stained coat. Jacob recognized the coat, his heart shattering with grief. "It is my son's coat," he cried, his voice filled with anguish. "A wild animal has devoured him. Joseph is surely torn to pieces." Jacob mourned deeply, refusing to be comforted by his sons. He tore his clothes and wore sackcloth, weeping for his lost son. The brothers watched him, their guilt a heavy burden to bear. They had betrayed their brother and deceived their father. Their actions set in motion a chain of events. Events that would test their family and their faith. Joseph, now a slave, was taken to Egypt. His future uncertain, his heart filled with despair. He was sold to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh. Life in Egypt was harsh and unfamiliar. He clung to the hope that one day he would be free. But for now, he was a slave, far from home. His brother's betrayal echoed in his mind. Would he ever see his father again? Would he ever forgive his brothers? The questions haunted him day and night. His journey had just begun. A journey of hardship, resilience, and ultimately, forgiveness. The seeds of reconciliation were yet to be sown. But even in the darkest of times, hope remained. A glimmer of light in the vast darkness. A promise of a brighter future. A future where forgiveness could heal all wounds and restore the bonds of family. Years passed. Joseph thrived, becoming second to Pharaoh in mighty Egypt. A severe famine gripped the land, reaching even Canaan, Jacob's home. Jacob, old and worried, told his sons, "Go to Egypt, buy grain." 10 brothers journeyed south, unaware of the fate that awaited them. They arrived in Egypt, bowing before the governor to plead for food. Joseph, now a powerful man, recognized them instantly, a ghost from the past, but he concealed his identity, his heart heavy with mixed emotions. "You are spies," Joseph accused, his voice stern, testing their honesty. The brothers protested. "We are 12 sons of one man in Canaan. One is dead. The youngest remains with our father," they explained, unaware. Joseph insisted, "Bring your youngest brother to prove your words." Simeon was held hostage, a guarantee of their return with Benjamin. The brothers returned to Canaan, burdened with grain and heavy hearts. They told Jacob of the governor's demand. His grief intensified. Jacob refused. "I will not risk losing Benjamin. Joseph is gone." But the famine worsened, forcing Jacob to reconsider his decision. Judah pleaded, "Let Benjamin go. I will be responsible for him." Reluctantly, Jacob agreed, sending them back with gifts and double money. The brothers returned to Egypt, presenting Benjamin to the governor. Joseph saw Benjamin, his own brother, and his heart yearned for him. He invited them to dine, seating them in order of their birth, a mystery. Joseph tested them further, planting a silver cup in Benjamin's sack. As they left, Joseph's steward pursued them, accusing them of theft. The cup was found in Benjamin's bag, despair washing over the brothers. They returned to Joseph, falling before him in anguish and fear. Judah pleaded for Benjamin's release, offering himself as a substitute. "Let me stay as your slave. Send the boy back to his father," he begged. Joseph could bear it no longer, his emotions overflowing like a dam. "Leave us," he commanded his servants, alone with his brothers at last. Joseph wept loudly, his sobs echoing through the halls of the palace. "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" he exclaimed, revealing himself. The brothers were stunned, speechless with shock and disbelief. "Come closer," Joseph urged, his voice gentle, erasing the years of pain. "I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt," he said softly. "Do not be distressed or angry with yourselves," Joseph reassured them. "God sent me before you to preserve life," he explained, offering comfort. "The famine will last 5 more years. Come, bring my father here." Joseph embraced Benjamin, weeping with joy, a bond reforged in tears. He kissed all his brothers, forgiving them completely, healing the wounds. Pharaoh welcomed Joseph's family, offering them the best land in Egypt. The brothers returned to Canaan, bearing the good news to their father. "Joseph is alive, and he is ruler over all Egypt," they cried out. Jacob's heart stood still. He could not believe what he was hearing. He said, "I will go and see him before I die." Jacob, with his entire family, journeyed to Egypt. A reunion awaited. Joseph went to meet his father, his heart filled with love and anticipation. Jacob saw Joseph, his son, and embraced him tightly, tears streaming down. "Now I can die, since I have seen your face and know you are still alive." Joseph settled his family in Goshen, the richest land in all of Egypt. They prospered under Joseph's care, the famine no longer a threat. Joseph provided for his father and his brothers, and all his father's household. He nourished them with food, according to all their families. Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. So the days of Jacob were 147 years. And when Jacob had finished commanding his sons, he drew his feet up into the bed. He yielded up the ghost and was gathered unto his people. Joseph lived 110 years. Joseph saw Ephraim's children of the third generation. The children also of Machir the son of Manasseh were born upon Joseph's knees. So Joseph died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him.